out for advice, just seeking out what do they think, and they are of high standing. These men carried gold with them when they came to Jesus. These men represent wealth and money. And many times our lives can operate around making money, needing more money. Money's a good thing. I love money. You love money. But the moment that you put your faith in money and it becomes the center of your life, you'll find that you can have all kinds of money. You can be a multi-millionaire and still be absolutely miserable in life because it just doesn't add up right when you put that as the center of your life. So let's take out the wise men. And let's put Mary and Joseph in the center. Wow, now this begins to feel a little better for me. You know, I love this family first. Spouse first, kids first, family first, just sounds good. But let me talk about this family. Because we put them on a pedestal as if they lived perfect lives. But let me tell you what they were going through during this scene. That they were traveling from Nazareth to Bethlehem. It was a 6-day journey, traveling 10 hours a day. They are mandated to make this journey by law because of a census that was being taken place and because they had to go and pay taxes. Mary is 9 months pregnant, riding on the back of a donkey, and it cannot get more miserable than that. Also in this story, you find that they're traveling during the winter time, and at night it's getting down to the low 30s, and the winter is also the rainy season, and it's very probable that the rain was just pouring on them at different times of their travel. Now they have made this long journey, and they come into the outskirts of Bethlehem, and the labor pains kick in. She now goes into labor. She cannot control it. She cannot stop it. The baby is coming. They're frantically trying to find some place that she can go and have the baby. And they end up going to a makeshift barn with some type of shield on top, maybe trying to get out of the elements of the weather, out of the rain. And it's at that place that she gives birth to that child. You know, they had problems. We all had problems. Have you ever noticed that your biggest struggles in life, most of the time, will come from within the own household, in your own family? In our own family, where there are divisions and divorce and wounds, and that we're just one another. You know why? Because what we're doing is that we're needing them to be something they were never intended to be to us. What we so desperately need are those that are around us that we are willing to put the pressure on them to make me happy. And you're putting a pressure on someone that should have never been put on you. Because your happiness never comes from someone else. And so what happens is that when you, as good as it sounds, you put family first. And spouse first, kids first, family first, there will be a hole in your life. You can put it all first, and yet there will be something that just doesn't add up right in life at all. Well, as you look at this scene, the only thing that we have left here is the animals. So let's shift an animal into the center, and we're all going, no way do we put animals as number one in our lives. Really? I've seen some of your Instagrams. Some of you people are dressing your dogs up in Santa suits. When I look at some of your Instagrams, I think some of you like your dog better than you like your husband. You know, we love pets. We all do. I think the majority of us in this room have pets because it brings love and warmth and companionship. We love that. You know what the animal represents? It represents enjoyment, pleasure, entertainment. We love entertaining ourselves to death. We love that. Man, we have all kinds of hobbies that we sell ourselves to. Man, I've got hobbies I love. You know, we all have our sports teams. And just like every single person in this building this morning is a devout Dallas Cowboy fan.
Boo! Boo!
The Raiders suck.
Did I hear booze in the...
Boo!
Christmas Eve. I mean, woman, What is wrong with you people?
Yeah, Sean, what's wrong with you?
Nothing.
We love our sports teams. I'm sorry for the rest of you. All right? You know, some people will go out and buy a boat, they'll buy a camper, they'll go camping out in the woods, and others will buy a cabin, and others will buy a beach house, and those are amazing things that bring joy and entertainment to our lives. But listen to this. You can gain all of those things and have those wonderful things, and still something doesn't add up. You can have all of these great things and still be extremely unhappy in life. And so your life can be a mess, even when you have so much. Well, let me remove the animal and let's put Jesus back into the center. And when you put Jesus in the center of your life, what you're doing is you're inviting God Himself to be the center, in control of your life. And the Bible tells us how that God wants to bring benefit and favor into every other area of your life. That when Jesus is the center, then it begins to flow into your marriage, into your children, and into your job, and into your finances. Because what you have done is you have invited the supernatural to be a part of your life. You know, when you look at this scene here, we can so sensationalize it. You know, whenever you think about Jesus being born like this, do you realize that He was haunted his entire life by the whispering of people behind his back saying, that's the one that was born of an unwed mother? They dogged Him with that. Back then, 2,000 years ago, it was one of the highest disgraces that you could go through, and they pointed their fingers and they mocked Him. When Jesus was born in this scene, it was the most unsanitary thing you could possibly ever imagine. And He lived in poverty and hardship and rejection. And there was absolutely nothing cute about this scene whatsoever. In fact, it's shocking and it's embarrassing and it's an outrage. But when Jesus came, He came at the lowest level that He possibly could come. Instead of coming and being born in a palace with wealthy parents, He came at the lowest level to experience the greatest amount of pain in every area of our lives. It was many years ago that there was a king, the king of Persia, who was a kind and compassionate leader. Their land had gone through so many struggles and through a famine, and now the people in his land were starving, and some of them were even dying, and his heart grieved over how the people that he was over were living. It said that for this king, many times, that he would take an outer costume, an outer garment, that which looked like a beggar, and he would put it over his garments. And he would camouflage himself, and he would go out into society, walk the streets and talk with the people and visit with them. One day as he's out in the street, a very poor elderly man invited him to his house. One beggar and another beggar. The king, dressed as a beggar, went to his house, and this man lived in a cellar. It was like nothing more than a hole in the ground. And as they went down inside, it was cold and dark and damp, but it's where this man lived. And there the king visited with him, and the king's heart went out to this man living like this. The king found himself coming back time after time after time, looking him up and going down into this hole and sitting and visiting with him. It was over a period of time that they developed a great friendship. Visiting, talking, telling stories, laughing together. And on one day, the king stood up, pulled off the outer garment of the beggar and threw it to the ground. And now he stands in the robe of a king. And he reveals to this elderly man, I am your king. The king expected him to ask for wealth, ask for assistance to get out of this miserable lifestyle. But instead, the old man slipped out and off the bench that he was sitting on, dropped to his knees in reverence before the king. And he said, O king, you have given your wealth to so many, but you have given yourself to me. You have given me your friendship, and there is nothing more I ask of you. In the very same way, when Jesus came out of heaven, He came and put on the outer garment of humanity, and He came to walk with mankind, and He came to show us exactly who He is and the heart of this one in which we are to serve. One of the scriptures of the Bible that I love so much is that He came to call us friend. What He desires is a relationship with all of us. And yet, why? Why would anyone run from God? Well, I can tell you. Because we've listened to other people instead of read the Word of God. And when you listen to other people, they'll make religion, Christianity, they'll make it sound like a prison, of where He wants to put you in a box. And He wants to have all these rules and regulations. And if you become a Christian, you're going to become a people hater, and you're going to never really have fun in life. And it's absolutely the opposite of what Christ spoke of. He said, you invite me into your life, and I've come to bring benefit. Because I formed you. I created you. I designed you. I created you with a purpose. And without me, you will never, ever discover the divine purpose in which God desires in you. And you see, what has to happen is that we're so busy in life that we have so many things that can take control of this centerpiece of our lives. And if you will make the decision that I'm going to bring Jesus back to the center, that He's not just going to be somewhere in the scene, but I'm going to diligently work on bringing Him back to the center, back every single day in my life, where the supernatural is flowing out of me in every direction, and that I'm gaining godly direction and godly advice instead of trying to figure out life on my own. What a benefit. You see, your friend is here today. I would like to ask everyone to bow your heads for a moment. And have you come into this place? And maybe Jesus is in your scene somewhere. You're not a God hater. He's just misplaced. You just know that He's somewhere, but He's not in the center. And as we pray right now, I would ask how many of you that maybe you've never really made that decision. You know about God, and maybe you would label yourself as a Catholic, a Baptist, a Presbyterian, Church of Christ, but I mean, when it really comes down to you and God, have you ever just invited Him to be the center of your life? And I would pray with you. Maybe you're here today and you're ready to say, Lord Jesus, I want you to come. I want you to be in charge of my life. And if you want me to pray with you that prayer with every head bowed, how many of you would just put a hand up very high and say, Pastor, pray for me in this ending prayer that I will invite Jesus Christ into my life. Just raise it up real high, real quick. Thank you, thank you. Okay, many, many, many hands are going up across this building. And if you're putting a hand up, there is something that is motivating you, driving you to do so, and it's the voice of God. And all you have to do, as I pray, you pray. And you just make it an invitation of saying, I now open up my heart, I open up my mind, and I want you to come into my life and to make a difference. Maybe you don't know where it goes from there, but you see, this is the beginning of something great in a relationship with you. Let me pray with you. Father, I pray for every person who has just lifted a hand, many across this auditorium. That, Father, I'm asking that Lord, as something has moved them, and Lord, that they just desire something more, that they recognize something's not right, something's not adding up right. It's just because we've never made you the center focus of our life. Lord, today we want you to be the center. Lord, today I pray that you would do a work in my life that I don't even understand. But all I know is that I want God. I want you in my life. Forgive me of all of my sins in the past. Let me start all over again today. And Lord, I'm going to put my faith and trust in you. I just want to make sure that every day that I'm centering on you. I'm just asking you to be involved in my marriage, in my kids, in my finances, in my work. I want to make you the center. And Lord, when we do, then the supernatural begins to work. And Lord, no longer are we living in the natural, but we're living in the supernatural. And Lord, what an amazing thing that is. And Lord, I thank you for all of these people that, Lord, are receiving you into their life on this very special day, Christmas Eve. Lord, we thank you. And in Jesus' name we pray. And everyone said,
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Hey, let's give them a big clap for all the girls that receive Christ in their life. Amen.
We'll invite him in just a second.
Like the light of the star that led the wise men to their king, our lives are a light, and his hope we will bring. As we multiply our light, we magnify our Lord, never meant to be held close, but as an offering outpoured. Good news of great joy to the hurting and broken. The Word became flesh, and salvation was spoken. The God of the universe, the all-sufficient One, chose the vulnerability of a child over the splendor of a throne. Emmanuel, he is imminent. Prince of Peace, he is near. Yahweh, he is mighty. Messiah, he is here. So let your light so
that light. That when we come together as the church, we act and walk as the light of the world because the light of the world is in us. And so remember that when we're celebrating Christmas, we said it earlier, but that Jesus is not only the reason for the season, He's the reason for everything, period. And without Jesus, there is no peace. Without Jesus, there is no love. Without Jesus, there is nothing good in this world. And that's why billions of people around the world are celebrating with us today, because we're celebrating the birth of Christ, the Son of God. And don't forget it, because that's what it's all about. Do you agree? I know you can't clap because that would be dangerous, but you know, you can verbalize it. Hey, you can start to blow out your key. I want to let you know before you leave today. One, if you are a guest with us, there is a guest card in the seat back pocket in front of you, and we have 2 info squares in our atrium. If you take that guest card filled out to one of those stations, we would love to give you a gift today and say thank you for coming. Also, this is the most important one. Next weekend, we are not having New Year's Eve services. We are having one combined service on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. So it's a family service where we're having communion. It's going to be incredible. So make sure you're here next week, 10 a.m. And we are not having services tomorrow because today is facilitating as our Christmas services. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's been an honor to have you. Have a great Christmas. We'll see you back next week.